This here is CRISPR Roots 27. Usually I talk about up and coming young artists. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Although some neglected veterans have popped up too. Marvelous things like Jay Gavin. That's who I'm thinking of right now, but a bunch of others. But let's talk about two beloved veterans. Um, Again, this is maybe not the underdog flavor. But maybe these guys are underdogs again, or something. Or maybe, as great as they are, and as great as people know they have not quite been sufficiently appreciated. I'm talking about Kim Wilson, the great blues harmonica player and jazz and band leader and singer. Kim Wilson of the fabulous Thunderbirds. And they have a new album out. And then also Del McCoury of the Del McCoury Band. We got blues and bluegrass. And we've got American treasures. People who are archives. People whose every gesture captures American musical history in a way that has integrity. Kim Wilson and Del McCoury. All right, there's a new Fabulous Thunderbirds album out. The great blues rock band of the 80s primarily, featuring Kim Wilson and Jimmy Vaughn, the guitar player, Stevie Ray's brother. Now, they had a hit, amazingly enough, Tough Enough. And Jimmy Vaughn left the group by about 90 at the latest, I guess, and has never returned. But Fabulous Thunderbirds, even though Kim Wilson put out a couple of wonderful solo albums in the early 90s, maybe 3 great solo albums, the Fabulous Thunderbirds have continued to record with various lineups. In terms of replacing Jimmy Vaughn, they've always got some really excellent guitar work. Duke Robillard was in that band, Kid Bangham, and Anson Funderburg's liable to show up, and a bunch of great players. All right, Kim Wilson is a great harmonica player. I saw him in Nashville. This would have been around 90. A little club, playing as Kim Wilson, not as the Fabulous Thunderbirds. And he blew harmonica for 2 hours. I'm a harmonica player. He blew harmonica for 2 hours. I was sitting in the table in the front. And he did not make a mistake for 2 hours. He played incredibly juicy, incredibly fast. Although, ultra fast is not necessarily his thing, that's the best performance I've ever seen by a harmonica player, okay? And I've seen a lot of them, man. I've seen a lot of the greats, really. Not as many as I should have, perhaps. But, okay, so, what a great player, and like I say, sort of an American treasure at this point. This Fabulous Thunderbirds album, Struck Down, is probably the best Thunderbirds album in quite a while, in the last 5 or something, or I don't know. They sound great, and Kim sounds great. Now, one thing about Kim Wilson, the harmonica player, is that a lot of what he did over the years was showing you that he could play just like the great players. Kim Wilson could play just like Little Walter. As good as anyone ever has, and Little Walter was the greatest blues harmonica player. So the fact that Kim Wilson could do Little Walter, like an original tune with Walter-style harp, or various Walter-style harps, a magnificent accomplishment. He could play just like Sonny Boy Williamson. He could play just like Big Walter, okay? But I'd say what's happening now is like he's just playing like himself. He's got all those elements. There's little quotations, but now this is more like Kim Wilson's mature style. And one thing about harmonica, I guess I've got to stop talking about harmonica eventually. One thing about harmonica, I think, is that your tone matures with you. You might end up with a real fat, good, rich tone, like the old Big Walter Horton, who probably had the best tone that anyone ever blew on a harmonica. Okay, and Kim has matured that way. Like I think he always was a consummate master of every aspect of of blues harmonica, including tone. But now he sounds like a old man kind of, like whoo, huh, whoo. Sonny Boy Williamson doing something like "Help Me." I say the tone had deepened by then. Like it's chunkier. It's anyway, like your voice might deepen, right? But this might have really good effects on harmonica. So anyway, like I don't think he's playing like much. He doesn't care who he's playing like anymore. He is just playing like Kim. So I'm just going to start this song in the middle to hit you with a harp solo. This is "I've Got Eyes" by the fabulous Thunderbirds from Struck Down. All right, there's 20 solos like that on this album. He is so fucking good, and he's sounding so good. Right. I figure he must be in his early 70s. Still blowing up a storm. Sometimes that does get harder, especially if you're a smoker and stuff like this. Maybe he's not, though. All right, let me talk a little bit more, just for the heck of it. This is my excuse about harmonica. Let's talk about positions on the harmonica briefly. Okay, that's the beginning of The Hard Way, one of the songs here, on this 10-song LP. Now, here are some harmonicas. The song is in B flat, and if you have a B flat harmonica, you can play it in first position, and then you will sound like Bob Dylan. Should I actually do this? I know you won't believe me, but every word I say is true. If things get too You can't play Dylan on this, and plus I don't really play first position harp. But this is a B flat harp playing in B flat. All right. Now, usually in blues, you play cross harp, which is a fifth down from the key you're playing in. So I play an E flat to play cross harp on a B flat song. If I could only change. Don't you know? Try to make it easier. Okay. But I'm trying. Now that's not quite appropriate for this song, which has a real minor key feel. So you play it in third, one step down from the key you're playing in. B flat, here's an A flat. Maybe it's actually got a chromatic going there, playing it like a third position diatonic. I don't know. Is that worth doing? All right. Now, how about this cut? You know, I really didn't like the last Bonnie Raitt album. I found it really depressing. Maybe I should talk about this, even though I love Bonnie Raitt so much, one of my early big crushes. And speaking of harmonicas, I guess my fantasy life was to be Bonnie Raitt's harmonica player. But she sounds great when she features on this one. Nothing in Rambling. Featuring Bonnie Raitt, Keb Mo, and Mick Fleetwood.
Raised in Algiers. Everywhere I've been, the people's all say.
And Taj Mahal.
Ain't nothing in Rambling, neither running round. Well, I believe I will marry, find me a good girl and settle down.
When I first left home, I stopped in Tennessee. People all saying, why don't you come and stay with me? Oh, there's nothing in Rambling, either running around. Well, I believe I'll marry, ooh, love, and settle down.
Well, Bonnie never sounded better. And that's going to be obviously a good harmonica run. Bonnie's worked with Junior Wells and Paul Butterfield and stuff like this. And she's not coming down when she works with Kim Wilson, master of the blues harmonica. All right, let's talk about Del McCoury. I guess I could transition since I definitely do have a harmonica. All right, Del McCoury. One place where I came across Del McCoury was, I think it was a show on the Nashville Network, American Music Shop, and featuring the Johnson Mountain Boys. What a wonderful bluegrass band the Johnson Mountain Boys are from D.C. area. Allison Krauss and Union Station, and the Del McCoury Band. I don't think they were still called the Dixie Pals back then. The Dixie Pals. And Allison Krauss introduces Del McCoury. And she says something like this. I was looking for this last night or whatever. Like, I can't find this on YouTube. Seems like it should be out here somewhere. But she says, like, this man is perfect. That's all she says. All right? Like, this is, I mean, and what she means is, this is how bluegrass should sound. I guess one thing I really love is, or one standard I have in a way of critical assessment, is genre centrality. Like, some people kind of love genre interfaces and departures from traditional genres and destructions of traditional genres. I tend to like paradigm cases of traditional genres. And Del McCoury is all of that. It's since the death of Ralph Stanley, the voice of Del McCoury is the voice of bluegrass. Now, I think he's from just over there, York, Pennsylvania. I'm in York Springs, Pennsylvania. Though he sounds more southern than Key West, okay? And I think he maybe grew up between York and Georgia or something. At any rate, what a singer. When Alison Krauss said that about Del McCoury, that was in 90, okay? That was 35 years ago. And he just put out a new album, the Del McCoury Band. And he sounded like the whole tradition then, and he really sounds like the whole tradition now. He's come into a more mature voice too, although, I don't know, he always sounded great. Also, in his band, we've got two of his kids, Ronnie McCoury and Rob McCoury. Ronnie McCoury is a mandolin player. I play mandolin too, although I don't play it anywhere near as well as I play blues harp. And I've tried it for years and I can't really get it, bluegrass mandolin. I've sort of given it up. But one of my favorite mandolin players is Ronnie McCoury, who's, he's a great technical player, but he's not Chris Thile. What he is just, it's unimaginable. No one could play more bluegrass mandolin, more bluegrass mandolin than Ronnie McCoury. Like, it's just, every time out, it's paradigm. It's finger on the pulse of the whole tradition. He's a beautiful, expressive player. So let's try this one just as an example. This is a great Del McCoury Band album. No reason to expect that it should come now, but here it is. It sounds fresh as hell. So just, I don't know, try hearing the mando, but the vocals.
I know you're a lonely woman, and I love you, but someone else is waiting, and he owns you. If he should ever wake up, make sure your story is straight, love. If you talk in your sleep, don't mention my name. And if you walk in your sleep, forget where you came.
There's Rob on banjo. The fiddle playing throughout is great. I should have triple checked the personnel. Do I have it up somewhere? But yeah, this is just a great, steady bluegrass album. I've seen Del a couple times at the Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival. He's a blast on stage. And he's an American treasure, okay? Like, these people should get whatever honors we have to give American masters. And I do that with Kim Wilson, too. Might not seem like you should. You should. That's a repository of the American musical tradition. Every time he blows a note, the whole tradition is in there. All right. He dares, Del McCoury, to sing it out. Again, I might compare it to Ralph Stanley. There's no mistaking Ralph Stanley and Del McCoury, who are both incredibly distinctive singers. Although they're both widely imitated now as well. But like, watch this guy dare to sing.
my shoulders like a blanket of stone. Memories chase me like wild dogs that won't leave me alone. I keep reliving the ending of all I thought was meant to be. Your goodbye was good for you, but it's been so bad for me. Time used to be a healer. Since you, I'm no believer. I'm just not ready to think about tomorrow. 'Cause tonight, losing you is still my sad song of sorrow.
He's playing the guitar there too, I think. Awfully good. Steady as a rock. I just find that really moving, actually. I mean, Sad, Solemn Sorrow. How about that for a song title? It seems over the top. But I'm going to let Del enjoy singing that shit. Because he's amazing. And, I mean, is he in his 80s? And he's singing like that? He hasn't lost that upper register? There's a nice duet here, or there's one good feature by Molly Tuttle, maybe the top rising bluegrass star right now. She's Heavenly, featuring Molly Tuttle. Play the Mando, man.
I left the old home place and went for the town. There I met my sweet Maggie, whom flowers bloom around. As pure as the honey from old Tuttle Street. I asked her to promise someday she'd marry me. So in love, she's the healing that I need. Up and up, she's heavenly.
Molly sings a verse in there too. Harmonies throughout. It doesn't get any more traditional than that in the bluegrass world too, and I do love traditional bluegrass. All right, I guess two great American masters on CRISPR Roots 27. Peace, yo.